the defense.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We all have non-negotiables, right? Like for me, pineapple on pizza. What are things you never compromise when it comes to taking care of yourself? Maybe it's hitting the gym, watching your favorite show, or making time for therapy. Life can get crazy with work, family, and everything else on your plate, and sometimes the things that make you feel good get pushed aside. But when life is busiest, that's when self-care, especially therapy, should be non-negotiable. Therapy isn't just for dealing with trauma or big life changes. It's a way to learn healthy coping skills, set boundaries, and become the best version of yourself. Whether or not you've been to therapy before, it can be a game changer in helping you handle everyday stress and challenges. If you've been thinking about starting therapy, BetterHelp is a great option. It's all online, super convenient, flexible, and tailored to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist. Plus, you can switch therapists at any time at no extra charge. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/THPN today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/THPN. All right, we are back on Split the Defense Hockey Podcast, presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors, serving the Kingston and surrounding area since 2004. I'm Webby with CP and producer Ted in the booth. Preseason Game 2. Thumbs up this episode, subscribe to our YouTube, leave us a comment. You know the drill. Now more than ever, we're going to need you to download this show in podcast form. Leave us 5 stars there. Come on. You know you want to. You love us. That's why you're here. Leafs lose again, 2 in a row. They lost 2-1 to the Sens, the baby Leafs, the buds, if you will.
Hey, nice.
They played Ottawa's full squad tonight, and I thought, you know what? This is the perfect time to come back. They're gonna win 5-3. I think I called in the game in the group chat earlier. That's not what happened. So Steve's had a goal. That was cool, except for it was kind of fluky. So it's not really anything you can take home out of that.
Bad goaltending. That's what that was.
Yeah, it is what it is. That you got a first star on either team here tonight. It's preseason.
Yep, it's preseason. I mean, this was far less enjoyable than the last preseason game, just because it's hard to get really hyped up for a bunch of guys that you're never going to see again, or at least for another year until maybe they try out next year. But there was some standouts for sure, but they were the guys that I expected to stand out on the team. And this is exactly how we started last year as well. We lost 2 games in a row in preseason to the Senators. So last year, if I remember correctly, I said that it doesn't matter. It's just preseason. And I still have that opinion, but it'd be nice to get off to a good start and to, get some pucks in the net and some wins, but, it is what it is.
Yeah, so a little bit of bad news. Obviously, this always happens at the beginning of the year, but Craig Berube said Matthews had an upper body ailment at practice. Nothing serious. Yeah, let's hope that's nothing serious. Kyle Clifford, who I think is on an AHL deal, is still day-to-day. I don't think that matters. But Callie Yarncroke is day-to-day with a lower body injury. So that's not good either. Steven Lorentz, Callie Yarncroke. We all thought they're going to maybe have to make a trade, but it's more looking like maybe everybody will be injured out of here. I don't know who they're going to have left. We're like, who's going to make the team? Well, who will be healthy enough to make the team? That's the thing. This is looking like Squid Games preseason at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to really judge. Berube's so early into his Leaf tenure. I can't read him yet, so I can't tell if Matthews' upper body injury really isn't a big deal or what. But I'm gonna just assume that it is. Callie Yarncroke, we'll see. But Callie Yarncroke on his own, there's over $2 million of cap space, and now you find a spot for one of these left wingers on the right side. So. Yeah, this always happens. It happens with the defense as well, and we still have 5 more preseason games to go, and all the practices in between. So lots of pucks being shot at guys, and there's bodies being hit, especially when Berube demands so much right out of the gate to be physical in practice. It's bound to happen. Not that I'm saying it's a bad thing. I think it's great, but we're just injuries are going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, it's too bad, but these injuries happen. They happen every preseason. They're kind of foreseen. We just hope it's not the one with Matthews. But let's talk about this game. Return players. We had Matthew Nyes, Easton Cowan, Nikita Grabenkin, and Jacob Killian all play their second preseason game tonight in Ottawa. And what did you think of particularly that group of 4 players that you've seen play 2 games?
I mean, Nyes was the clear standout. Like Nyes just makes, really good plays and all over the ice. It's a really strong, fast body, so he's very noticeable. Gurbankin, I thought was like a little less noticeable than the last game. Not just because he didn't get into a fight, but just I don't know. I felt right out of the gate that he was like laying the body, and maybe a little less of that. But and who else was it?
We got Easton Cowan and Jacob Killian also.
Yeah,
They played last night and tonight.
yeah. Again, Killian, I said last time I didn't notice him at all. He was, on the face-off for the Steves goal, so good for him. He might have gotten an assist there. But Cowan, maybe a little less impressive. Altogether, like it was a little hard for the whole team to get a lot going. I felt like so, unless you were like Nyes or Robertson, kind of doing it all for yourself. Like I didn't notice any real standouts, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, so probably Matthew Nyes makes the team. Gurbankin goes to the AHL. Cowan's probably not going to make the team unless they do some real maneuvering here and just keep him around and condition him and, I don't know, do some weird thing. But he's probably going back to junior. And whoever Jacob Killian, it was nice to meet you.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, Killian is probably one of those guys that will stick around, and maybe he's like, the new Steves, and you see him every once in a while, or maybe Steves is still the new Steves, and you see him every once in a while. But yeah, that's the kind of the thing with all these games. Like even like Roni Hirvonen, like it was nice to see you for a couple games, but I'm not expecting to see you for any of the 82 games coming up. So it's funny when you look back at some of these prospects that kind of have their moment of peak of popularity and everyone talking about him, and then a couple years later, and unfortunately for Hirvonen, it's because of injury. They kind of get forgotten about, and now we're talking about Cowan and Grabenkin, and it's like,
yeah, and you're ready to give him a quick hey, hi, how are you? See
Yeah,
you later.
that's right. So yeah, it's unfortunate about some of these guys. Even Steve's, like every time that Steve's plays, I find that I'm impressed by him. Like he gives good energy. He plays larger than he actually is, and he sometimes like gets a goal like tonight where like it was kind of gifted to him in a way. So yeah, I don't know. Grabenkin, I'm still interested to see more of, just because the size and speed of him, and apparently he has a pretty decent shot and is physical. So yeah, I'm not kind of saying that he's not making the team, especially when we're talking about injuries already. Cowan just seems like an easy out. Like you send him back to junior. They always seem to do that when there's a year to do it. So I don't know. Maybe, yeah, Gurbankin, I think, he's would play, for the Marlies. So I don't know. Maybe that is an argument that, Gurbankin is an easy out as well. Just goes to the Marlies and, it gets a little bit more used to North America hockey.
I think that's going to be the case, but I think we're all going to be begging for a guy like Gurbankin at points in the season because he's got that little bit of offensive upside. He plays fast, he plays hard, he's willing to chuck them, and we love that. We love that here in Toronto. Come on, like as a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, like we're so used to a team that just chucks them. Now in this skilled era, we've been so spoiled with the skill. We're kind of like, we want some chuck 'em again. And a guy like Nikita Grabenkin is definitely going to win the hearts of fans. They're going to be calling for this guy to come up all year. Now, obviously, we don't make the decisions, but we should.
Yeah, I wish I did sometimes. Yeah, actually, no, that's a lot. I just like watching the games and talking about it.
Yeah. So Benoit and Tkachuk both got too early for what was described as general misbehavior by the broadcast, and I think I just loved that. Lots of rough stuff between these two teams the last couple of games, and there was a comment from the broadcast. I think it was Mike Johnson said that Travis Green told them that is one of the best conditioned teams he's ever seen come into training camp of the Ottawa Senators. Now they always play the Leafs hard, but you know, everything's changed for them as well. Like this last two nights, is it just preseason? Does it say anything? Was it a Lottie Doss out for a skate last night and we don't worry about a damn thing? Or, and this might be a little bit of a faded question, but should we worry about the Sens?
Like I feel like we've done this now twice. This is the third time now that we're talking about the Senators. Is this the
Every
year we have
year.
to be worried about them? I don't know. Maybe like last year they beat us twice, and then they just like had one of the worst starts ever. So I don't know. Like they're gonna have to stay healthy for one thing. It's like thankfully, like with Allmark, like hopefully they. I'm not hopefully. I'm not cheering for them, but for their sake, they hope that they have a good goalie. But yeah, I don't know. It's something like Stützle really has to become a star, I think, because Tkachuk is able to lead a team, but I'm not sure as far as like point production and when it really, you need a skilled guy to lead a team. And so I think like to me, Tim Stützle is that guy. So like just I don't know, is he gonna break out? Like he had a really poor year last year. So
I worry less about the Stars and what they do because they're going to continue to do what they do. It's these outside edges pieces that are totally willing to chuck them, to just get in the fight. And, like everything was very physical. There was fights in the preseason. Like, I don't remember that. This is a pretty new thing of having lots of fights going on in these games. And, these guys really trying to prove it in that way. Is that a Sens versus Leafs thing? Is that competition within the club? I don't know, but part of me goes, shit, the Senators. And I'm not really worried about them in the rest of the league because the only way they do good is if they played the Leafs for 82. But I do worry about them against the Leafs and in these physical battles, right? Like they've really upped their game. They have a lot of guys who are willing to fuck around now.
oh yeah, there's no question about that. Like when it just comes with physicality, like I'm always concerned. Like I don't know, any team with a Tkachuk, like you got to kind of watch your P's and Q's. So they have now a team that like would rally around a guy like that. So yeah, like and even for the Leafs, like maybe it's a little more physical because their coach that's what he's looking for. Like Gurbenkin probably talked to the coach, and he's like, yeah, I want you to use your size and be physical out there. And that's he goes out and does that. So I think
So was that maybe initiated from some of the guys on the Leafs? Is that just a product of dressing bigger, stronger guys and playing that style game? Is that why all that physicality came out, you think?
yeah, like they're looking for a bigger, stronger team. So I think if you're a guy trying to crack the lineup, like if you're willing to bring that plus the skill as well, like it's just more on your resume, and like it's just been so plain and clear that that's what this team wants, and especially this coach. So I mean, if you're smart, like that's like even Pontus Holmberg, he's put on 10 pounds or
Who
something
got into a
throughout the
fight tonight?
yeah, got into a fight. He's put on weight. Like that's a guy who's like, well, I think I need to be stronger up the middle, stronger as a body, and so that's I think the message out to the team.
Yeah, certainly interesting. What did you think of Philippe Myers tonight?
Like it's funny. Like I enjoyed him. He's like he's another guy. He's brought the energy tonight. I'm not so sure he's ever gonna see the lineup, but I wouldn't feel uncomfortable with him. He seems to know what to do. And he shoots right. So it's one of those where like you never know. He actually might crack the lineup at some point, but definitely not out of the gates. I wouldn't see him. But I just thought from the first period where I felt like what am I going to be looking for in this game other than just trying to stay tuned? It's like, well, he kind of stuck out to me. He's bringing the energy. He's got a bigger body too. There's actually another guy,
Made a nice
Matanen.
L1R1.
Yep, yeah, L1R1. I saw that as well.
Yeah,
So
it was a good one. I liked it.
yeah, that's the TJ Brody special. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we need a little more of that. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
he's
did you
big.
feel like? I mean, do you think we're really gonna miss TJ Brody this season? Do you think
No,
our decor looks good enough without him?
I mean, I miss TJ Brody of 2 or 3 years ago. There's no question, but TJ Brody of last year. Like, no, I mean, we've filled that role. Like, Tanev
We can
is the
find guys
replacement.
to do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the answer I was looking for.
yeah.
What about Dennis Hildeby tonight? He made 2 big saves on Kachuk, and I wish I got the clip in here from Omar. I
Man,
haven't done that. Technical difficulties. We'll get better. I swear we'll get
yeah,
better. We'll have these clips in here. But those saves on Kachuk, that whole sequence, and then the few minutes before that, that gave me some faith in Hildeby. I thought, that was very good. He came in like maybe 4 minutes of play before that and probably made 4 saves in those 4 minutes, and that were high danger.
yeah.
Hildeby looked pretty good. Big guy. Now we got Matt Murray and Hildeby is it's not so
Third, fourth
dismal,
goalie.
at least after, glass wall there and Anthony Stolarz, who we know nothing about, who may be fine, but he might also not. He could also get hurt because shit just happens.
He
And
also
then
looked
what do you
good
do,
tonight
right?
too. Yeah,
And yeah. And so, I mean, like, it's nice to have that depth, is all I'm saying. It's nice to
for
see him to
sure.
be looking good.
Yeah, both goalies tonight looked big. That was just like my first thought is like big goalie replaced big goalie. Yeah, Hildeby himself is just massive. Like I think he's like 6'6" or 6'7" maybe. That's a lot of body to take up the net. And the only thing you ever are worried about is how's the mobility with a guy that big. And like he kind of showed tonight, like he gets across the net perfectly fine. He got caught out front a little
Well,
bit too
yeah.
much, and he's able to get back and make a pretty big pad save, and might have gotten lucky. It might have been the post that saved him a bit, but
What do you
he had.
think about the goal that got scored on him when it got picked off for the shorthanded goal?
I mean, like both goals I thought were tough to put on the goalie. Like one guy walks down the slot, and the other one's like a half breakaway shorthanded. So, or like a almost full breakaway shorthanded. So, yeah, I mean, I don't put either on the goalie. I thought they both played pretty well. So, I'd be happy, and that's where you say like the depth is pretty. You don't want to think about Wall getting injured, but history tells us that he's not going to be around all season. You just hope he's around for the right parts of the season. So yeah, Hildeby, the only reason he didn't play last year is his first year coming over to North America, and so I think this year, if we have a time where he has to act as backup and they're not going to make any weird maneuvers like they did last year not to start him. Like, I think, yeah, you could put Hildeby in an NHL game and he'd do just fine, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So you sent me this tweet. This is what I want to get into here. But maybe we should do our DraftKings first.
Do it.
Let's hit it up.
Yeah.
All right, DraftKings. A TD, a tutty, taking it to the house. Whatever you call a touchdown, they matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Ready to place your first NFL bet? Try betting on something simple, like a player to score a touchdown. You have game lines, passing props, and rushing props. You can bet on the first quarter or first half if you feel like your team starts slow or charges out of the gate. I know how my team starts. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
So you sent me this tweet, and it's from, hold on, I'm looking. I think it's Kevin Papetti. It's always Kevin Papetti. Such a smart man. So it's the usual suspects on forward with a decor of Riley, Tanev, Benoit, McCabe, OEL, Liljegren, and Hakanpää, and that fills out the team at exactly the cap. basically, within like 30 grand, I think. And no Pacioretty's on there. There's not keeping Easton Cowan around. There's, nobody extra that's messing around right now is going to be sticking around. So he suggests that it feels like a trade and a Pacioretty signing is coming. Who's it going to be?
I mean, I think it's just going to be kind of similar to last year where, oh man, I don't know. How is his name blanking me? The guy we traded away at the end to Vancouver. But like, it's going to be like, yeah, that's it. Lafferty. Yeah, it's going to be kind of like that. Like, it's going to be Dewar or Holmberg. And I feel like, I know, but Kampf. Oh my gosh. I mean,
yeah, see you later, buddy.
The thing with Kampf is like, even tonight, he made a couple of like mistakes. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I'm not noticing Killian making those mistakes, but I know he does make I know, I know he does do good things and everything, but
Killian,
I don't know.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm TP. Welcome to the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be less exciting than that, though. More likely Holmberg, and you kind of lose a depth piece that you'd like to see later in the year. And it was the same as Lafferty. Like, there was a time in December or January where we missed that guy. And that's just how this goes when you like sign too many guys to NHL contracts. They either have to go through waivers or you get like a third or fourth round pick for them. So yeah, you just hope that you can get something for these guys and they don't just get claimed off waivers like some of the other guys. Because even Dewar and Holmberg, I could see them like, if you want to do a test with Easton Cowan, like you might have to, one of those might have to pass through waivers. And I don't know, that's a tricky one. Both really like third or fourth
Easton
line
Cowan
guys.
doesn't.
No, I mean, get him on the team, Holmberg or Dewar might have to pass through.
Or
you lose one of those guys.
Yeah. Nick Robertson. And we're not going to put him through waivers, so do you think that there's the trade?
I don't know. How do you like tonight? I felt like Nick Robertson was impressive. Like, he forechecks, he's good on the puck. He even like gave up like there was a time where I thought he should have made the extra pass for a goal, but he took the shot. Another time where he did make the extra pass. I don't know. There's something with this guy where like, he does all the right things, but at the same time, like everyone still wants to get rid of him, including myself. Like, I still don't want to pencil him in.
Sold.
Yeah, it's just like, man, he is doing the things. He hustles hard and, like want to love him, but just for some reason, he just can't, just quite not in love yet. I don't know.
Well, I certainly think that it's going to be. It should be. It's not going to be Yarncroke. Like, yeah, when you look at Yarncroke play, he's great.
No.
He's worth 2.1. He's worth I'll pay him that all day. Absolutely. Kampf at 2.5. On the other hand, he plays center, but like we've got a whole bunch of guys who do that. It's the fourth line. They play like 6 fucking minutes a night. Like, you can give that to other guys that can play these minutes and like, or maybe just make a different kind of line. Like, I don't know. You get Ryan Reeves. I don't even know what they're doing right now with this team for the fourth line. Like, it doesn't really make sense to what you're gonna do unless you go out and get a couple other big bangers to throw with Ryan Reeves. Otherwise, like, I don't know where he fits in there. So like, why is it Kampf's line that's taking 6 minutes? Why is it a $2.5 million fourth line center that's holding things up? I think maybe that's the guy that's got to go, and then you put Pontus Holmberg at $875K in that spot, and then you use another $900,000 player somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see Kampf holding his value. It's a long preseason. Lots of guys could get injured. They might just throw half a team on LTIR and be like, we get to keep them all.
Yeah.
That's what happened last year, isn't it?
It is. We had the conversation. We argued about the defense. How is this going to work? These pennies, those pennies. How is it fitting? No, these guys have to go down. And then it was Timmins, I think. Like, oh yeah, and it was because Timmins was just playing like, the next Makar. And then it's just like, no, like Timmins got injured. When he came back, he never really was good enough to crack the lineup. So yeah, he was your guy that just flip flopped and everything was solved. So. Yeah, we'll see how it all like comes down to it, but and just like, yeah, we'll see. Like, when we were talking about like whether Kampf is worth it on a fourth line and like for 2.4, if it was like just say, would you be willing to pay 2.4?
Kampf for Max Pacioretty Do you want David Kampf or Max Pacioretty?
Yeah.
Do you think you can replace David Kampf? And like, do you not, or do you think like, well, we have to have that guy?
You know, I don't know. It's tough to say.
That's the question you got to ask. Now we got to ask Brad Treeliving. We'll have him on.
The thing is Kampf is great to have when like you have injuries and he has to be moved up the lineup. Like, you know, if you're replacing him, then it's kind of the same thing of like if you got rid of Holmberg, you know, like you're losing like this, you know, like an adjustment that you could make down the road, but it wouldn't be the end of the world if everyone's healthy and everything. Like Holmberg is perfectly fine, I think, as a fourth line centerman. I think Dewar would be as well. Like this Killian guy probably would do it
he's
as well.
Hurt right now, but he could do it. Yeah. You got to look to start the season, right? Like somebody's got to play opening night. But I think they could figure it out. I think they got enough guys who could play center. Like, doesn't Steves play center too? Like, you know,
I think he's
got lots of guys who could fill the role, and then maybe Dewar comes back in, and that's your deal, because he likes to throw him and chuckle, and you put him with Reeves and somebody else. Like, I don't know, but like I just don't know why you would keep a $2.5 million fourth line center when you're having cap issues. Like, if he's your third line player, he's a shutdown, 13-minute a night guy. I get it. Like, but I don't see it with him. Like, he plays 6 minutes a night for $2.5 million when Calle Yarncroke is like shifting into the top six when guys get hurt and playing 18, 20 minutes a night for 2.1. Yeah. So it's like, that's where the difference comes for like these tertiary players on the outside. Like, where does the value actually lie? And if you can just be replaced in your 6-minute role, maybe.
I mean, even Yarncroke could replace him, like there are guys in this lineup that can replace Kampf. There's no question. He's a bit of a luxury that
I think he's a good candidate to be traded. I think that's one of the guys. I think Robertson's another one of the guys. And then you said what, Holmberg?
Holmberg, yeah.
Or Dewar.
Yeah. If Dewar is injured to go into the season, then, obviously he just, goes on LTIR, but I would say, like, I'm looking at someone lower in the lineup, less exciting, but I mean, I would not hesitate if someone wanted to give up something for Kampf. It just opens up to is like financially when you come to the middle of the season and you want to get a centerman that's maybe even more impactful than Kampf, you at least have the cap space so you can do it. So, yeah.
All right. Well, you got anything else you want to raffle off about this game before we get out of here?
No, I think that's enough.
It's enough for me too.
Yep.
All right. So we are back Thursday after the Leafs played the Canadians at home. Sorry for the audio listeners. That was tough. That was my phone. Yeah. Anyways, we're back Thursday, and we will be back shortly after the game. But for now, thanks for listening. This is Split the Defense Leafs post-game presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors, serving the Kingston and surrounding areas since 2004. We appreciate your comments, and to show your support, you can hit that like button, subscribe to our YouTube, rate and review the show. We would love your feedback. Please, please, please download this in podcast form for us if you're one of our faves, and you're going to help us out big time. We'll see you after Thursday's game. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.